And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
We're due for one. It's going on around the world. Love-evolution all over the planet. And I tell you what it comes down to. It's coming down to we don't want to be ruled by y'all anymore. You're bad. Freedom, good. Government, bad. Pretty much in general. Certainly ours. And the one thing I wanted to get from William Black, he's author of The Best Way to Rob a Bank is to Own One. And I'm looking for, and he was a regular. Tell us what your position was. Let's get that out of the way. Tell me that.
Well, okay, I was the litigation director of the Federal Home Loan Bank Board, the deputy director of the Federal Savings and Loan Insurance Corporation, the senior vice president and general counsel of the Federal Home Loan Bank of San Francisco, the senior deputy chief counsel for enforcement and litigation of the Office of Thrift Supervision, and the deputy staff director of the Inevitable National Commission to look into the causes of the savings and loan crisis. So take any of those 5 hats
Well,
you
you know
want.
what? Let me tell you what those hats are. It sounds like they should have been calling you up over the last few years. We got some more work for you.
Oh, but that would be only if you wanted to succeed.
Yeah, see, I know you're helping me make the point. I mean, my thing is that they did not take the prosecutions and the experience and the precedents of what happened in the S&L just, 15, a little bit more years ago, and all of a sudden, and probably those guys that were incarcerated for doing that then were just getting out of jail in time to start having some fun 5 years ago, I would imagine.
Yeah, if you took what you ought to do if you wanted to be effective and put a negative sign in front of it, you'd pretty much have. Both the Bush and the Obama administration.
Yeah, see, I'm just administrations, blah 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 blah. It's like when you have all these revolutions. They're not really necessarily against any one particular person. They want a total government change in type and style and philosophy. And you want to know how a revolution is going to come to fruition here in this country. It's going to be when you see very clearly that the promise made by government for their existence. They said, support us being here because without us, bad things will happen. And we pinky swear a promise that we're going to protect you against aggressors. We're going to protect you against the people that would lie, cheat, steal, murder, rape, pillage, take, whatever. That's why we're here, is protect you from them. And then you find out not only are they protecting the very people that are doing those things to you and not prosecute them, heck, a lot of the times they're the ones doing it. So you're going, and you wonder why there's a revolution. Well, pay attention because this be why. Now, the one thing I wanted to make sure we got to is, let's say I'm a fund manager for a large municipal retirement program. We go to California, man. We got teachers and police and fire and whatever. And we're sitting there on $1 billion. And there's a Goldman Sachs guy over there saying, ooh, we'd love to have your $1 billion. You need to invest with us. And we got this new financial product we come up. It's called, derivative of derived from of another derivative on derivative. Okay. And whatever it is that they call it. And it's a okay. Well, we can't give you that money unless we have something that's going to insulate me, keep me from going to jail, okay? And that is going to be, as I assume, a AAA rating from something or somebody or some kind of a validation of that investment. They go, not a problem. We pay a little bit of money over here to this guy. This guy says, absolutely, rubber stamp on it. Now you can give us the money, and here's your green fees, okay? So I'm going, how far off am I? And then explain to me what that trigger was that allowed them to transfer the money.
Okay, so the trigger is not really whether you have a AAA rating, but whether you are something that's called investment grade, which is considerably below AAA. So AAA is supposedly the best you can get, right? And so this is about 4 levels down.
Okay, now some, funds or certainly government and municipality, I would imagine they require a AAA. When they downgrade them, all of a sudden they got to sell them, right?
Well, downgrade them below investment grade.
Okay, so investment grade is the level.
Yeah, so there are many grades. There are over 20 grades.
But say a law in California, there was no law requiring a AAA, just investment grade, right?
That's typically the case. That's correct.
All right, so we'll go with that.
The laws are almost always phrased as investment grade. So this makes your point in some ways even more strongly. These guys didn't settle for just turn my toxic waste into investment grade. They said, turn my toxic waste in supposedly the crown jewels. Okay, so something like 2% of U.S. corporations' debt were rated AAA. But virtually all the top tier, what we call a tranche, of these liar's loans when they were created in derivatives, these things called collateralized debt obligations or CDOs, virtually all of those got AAA ratings.
Okay,
and
so if you're going to have investment grade, it's always better to have AAA. Not that it's a requirement. It's just that we want to get all the money available to be invested in us, and we're AAA. So even though you could have invested at investment grade, we're AAA. Give me your money.
I can sell it for a higher price the higher the rating.
Which means I'm more willing to pay Moody's a little extra on the side, making sure we're your bestest customer to give us a AAA based on what? What were they basing it on?
Okay, so first, you didn't even have to you didn't have to bribe Moody's or S&P or Fitch. All you had to do was create what we call a Gresham's dynamics in economics. Now, Gresham's dynamic is when bad ethics drives good ethics out of the marketplace. And this is, by the way, the central task for government. And that is, if in the private sector cheaters prosper, then the competitive private sector will drive the honest people out of the marketplace. So what happens is, if I'm S&P, Moody's, Fitch, if I signal, and it's easy to signal, I just give the AAA rating, that I'm willing to take toxic waste, liar's loans, and call it AAA, then you'll send me your business. And you won't send me your business if I don't. And so over time, that competitive pressure becomes really perverse. All the rest is just excuses.
Okay, now you're getting
AAA.
You have complete understanding from me. I get it, but I want to get into a philosophical thing here with you, and you can help me out. Being a hardcore, no compromise, anarchist, libertarian kind of, I don't need any government kind of thing. I can go, okay, if you're going to have a government, I mean, what's the purpose of government? To protect against force and fraud. Well, I'm smelling some fraud here, okay? I'm smelling some, force being acted upon the unsuspecting whoever lost their money. So I'm going, all right, if we do that, is there a proper rule of government? Well, yes, and that's what you're saying, is that we could have government that would enforce these laws of fraud and keep it clean so that the honest raider is not driven out of business by not getting any business because he won't. It's just like appraisers in houses.
Yes,
if he's doing low appraisal, we don't want that guy. We're going to get the guy who's going to give us a high appraisal. Then they go after the guys, oh, you high appraisers, you should go to jail. And you go, hey, if I didn't do what they said, I wouldn't even have business. Plus, it's based on everybody else giving them higher, so I give it higher, justified, blah, blah, blah. We know how it goes. But my point is that if you have government that fills that role, that always happens. You're always going to have a dependency on government that they're going to keep the fraudsters out, and that if you didn't depend on government to do that, you would either do it yourself or you would pay a private entity to do the ratings for you that you could trust. And I'm wondering, when we come back, we'll talk about this dependency on the concept of government, and in the end, will it ever work, or are there other alternatives? Go ahead and think about that when you break. We'll be right back to talk about it here on Declare Your Independence in just a little bit.